Hey guys, Bubba here with the Bubba News. All in one word, all in one news. How are you guys doing tonight? I hope you guys had a great Valentine's Day. Lots of love in the air. The three hostages released there in Israel. So there's a lot of love tonight going on in Israel, as this was the number six hostage release, hostages being freed there from Gaza in this first phase of the 6-week period. And 19 hostages have been released. There are 6 more to go coming up on February 22nd, next weekend, as well as on March 1st. And you add the 16 or the 19 plus the 6, and you have 25 out of the original 33. And 8 hostages in this first phase 1 of the 33 are deceased. So there's still some sadness, but there's a lot of love tonight with everything going on. But I just wanted to get you guys caught up with what I'm seeing today. I haven't done a video for a couple days, but I'm kind of low key on the news cycle, which is okay. But there's some things I want to cover too with Egypt and even Turkey that are going to start raising the eyebrows in the days to come. Marco Rubio just landed in Israel tonight, and he's going to be meeting with the Israeli big wigs here in the next couple days there in Israel. But I wanted to get over here first and just show you guys what the stage was, where these guys, there were 3 men that were released today from Gaza, and these are civilians. And for every one civilian, they're supposed to release 30 Palestinian prisoners. Well, during the exchange show today, and this is what they call it, and I'll show you the stage in a minute, but the exchange show that happened there in Gaza, Israel ended up releasing 369 Palestinian prisoners today. Now, keep in mind, they're only supposed to release 30 for each one civilian. Israel released 123 for every one civilian today. So something's really screwy and something's really off. So I'm not sure what's going on, but I wanted to show you real quick the stage that they are dealing with over here. This is the stage in Khan Yunis, Gaza, where Hamas released the 3 hostages earlier today. And in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see over here, excuse me, it says no migration from Gaza except to Jerusalem. They still want to march on Jerusalem, and that is still coming. You know, and the upper left poster says no deportation of us except to Jerusalem. Now, the middle one, that's where it got really kind of interesting over here, because it said, Hi al-Quds, which is the Islamic name for Jerusalem. It says, we are your soldiers. And we see multiple flags in the picture behind from, goodness, we have all the surrounding Arab countries that surround Israel currently: Jordan, Egypt, Syria, Lebanon, and Palestine. And in the upper right-hand corner, we have up here, we've got 8 Hamas and perhaps the Palestinian Islamic Jihad leaders. So the lower poster down here below, and you guys have seen this red triangle before with some of the images. And this is something that Hamas has done every time they attack Israel. And they say that they crossed over swiftly. And they're showing these 9, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are actually, 11 of them. Those are 11 villages and kibbutzes where Hamas murdered and kidnapped the Jews, shown with the red triangle above each village that was attacked on October 7th. So this is just crazy town. Let's get back over here, guys. Let me see here. Excuse me. Let's go back down yonder. And we're going to scroll down because I put up stuff for Valentine's Day. But here's the thing I wanted to tap on, because the Israel-Egypt relations are a fragile piece under a growing tension with Israel. And I asked the question, when will Israel and Egypt go to war? It's a $1 million question. Israel's peace with Egypt is stable for now, but for how much longer? Israel has a paper-thin peace treaty with Egypt in place currently, but it would not take much for Cairo to reconsider its peace agreement with Israel. And I'll show you another article about Israel and Egypt here in a few minutes. Israel and Egypt signed a historic peace agreement in 1979, but the relations between the two countries remain tense and filled with mutual suspicion. While the treaty established diplomatic ties and limited security cooperation, Egypt has been rapidly expanding its military into the Sinai. And this is raising major concerns in Israel about its intentions. There's been videos in the past week or two about dozens and dozens of Egyptian tanks that are coming up to the southern Israeli border and also the border there with Gaza. With no significant external threats in sight, Egypt continues to bolster its military with advanced weapons, tanks, and fighter jets. Egypt has acquired warships, attack helicopters, and modern fighter jets from France. It has acquired the Russian S-300 air defense system, which Israel has no problem taking out, as they showed us a couple months back when they attacked Iran. But Egypt has also received over $80 billion in American-made Abrams tanks and other American military weapons. So these military advancements appear geared towards an engagement with a conventional army like Israel instead of countering the terrorists like ISIS in the Sinai, like Egypt wants us to believe. Israel has allowed Egyptian forces and military equipment into the Sinai beyond what was initially agreed upon in these 1979 peace accords. The Sinai Peninsula now hosts a significant Egyptian military presence, and this has drawn much scrutiny. Egypt claims that this increased presence in the Sinai is aimed at combating terrorism, but the Israeli and American intelligence suggest that this buildup may be preparing for a broader regional shift against Israel. While there's no immediate sign of an Egyptian military threat, the October 7th attacks serve as a reminder that these security assumptions can be devastatingly wrong. Despite its peace treaty with Israel and Egypt, Israel cannot afford to be complacent. Early indications show that a coming war with Egypt might be brewing. And I'm going to get over here to this next icon over here. Forgive me as I close this out, and let's get back over. Hey, guys, here I am back again. Let's get back to another one. Let's do this one over here. Well, actually, I'll go here. These are some of the hostages that are still waiting to be released. And there's 73 more hostages waiting to be released. And of those, Israel knows that at least 36 of them have passed away. So out of 83 hostages, 36 left that have passed away. There may be up to 37 total that are still alive that could be released in the stage 2 negotiations that are still coming up. Let's get to the final one over here regarding Egypt. And here's is this the next one? It could be this one. Here we go. Let's go over here. This is the next one. This came out here a little bit ago. Israel's U.S. envoy says Egypt's President El-Sisi is breaking the peace deal, and he's playing with Hamas. And that's not good, guys, because this is going to start getting really squirrely really quick. And, of course, I can't find it, of course. You know how that goes when you're trying to do a live stream. Actually, we're not doing a live stream. We're doing a recording. So let's keep going here. Here we go. Nope, that's not it, Bubba. Well, let's look for one more because I didn't put it too far away. 2 weeks ago when I did a live stream with Isaiah 153 at the very end, the last 3 minutes, he cut out early and it was just me up there. So I got to talking, and you guys saw me on my last live stream a couple days ago, and there was a major mess up there as well. So I'm not having any luck finding this offhand, but it's on here. But anyway, here's what's going on. And I'll get out of this one and I'll just read it to you. The Israel's envoy to the United States has accused Egypt's President El-Sisi of violating the U.S. brokered peace treaty between Jerusalem and Cairo, profiting from the desperation of Palestinians who are wanting to flee the Gaza Strip. And they're making money from the Hamas people and the Gazans who have secretly been coming into Egypt, even though they're saying they're not going to take any, because they're making big money off of this. But the ambassador Yachi later made the allegations during a Zoom meeting on January 28th with the executives of major American Jewish organizations. The comments against Egypt and its leader were quite out of the ordinary, particularly since the start of the Gazan war. Jerusalem has sought to maintain a working relationship with Cairo through all of this. And Egypt is serving as one of the mediators between Israel and Hamas in order to secure the release of the Israeli hostages seized by Hamas on October 7th. Ties between Israel and Egypt have been frosty ever since Netanyahu returned to power in December 2022. And Netanyahu has not yet spoken to President Sisi since the start of the fighting in Gaza, October 7th. As Cairo has fumed over what it feels has been Jerusalem efforts to move Gazans into the Sinai Peninsula. Egypt has rejected this idea outright of Israel bringing in Gazans into Egypt, and it has sought assurances from Israel that those who leave the Gaza Strip will eventually be allowed to return. But such an occurrence and an assurance has yet to come from Israel, which is further straining the strategic relationship with Egypt. Egypt is in very serious violation of our peace agreement in the Sinai by moving in. This is an issue that is going to come to the forefront very soon because it is not tolerable, later told the American Jewish leaders. And like I mentioned a little bit ago, footage shot from Egypt's Sinai Peninsula in recent weeks show a massive buildup of Egyptian troops and tanks. The show of force is reportedly aimed at signaling Cairo's disapproval over Israel's continued control over the Philadelphia corridor, and that's a border right there on the southern Gaza Strip area that borders Egypt. But that itself is a violation of the peace treaty that the two countries signed in 1979, according to Egypt. The troop buildup is also said to signal Egypt's willingness to use force against Israel to prevent the displacement of any Gazans into the Sinai Peninsula. And I finalized this comment on Telegram there with TikTok goes the Israel and Egypt clock, as the current peace treaty will continue to fall down into the slope of war. So this is all still coming up. This is really going to start getting crazy, I believe, as we start getting further into this second phase number 2 of 6 weeks that is set to begin in 2 weekends, March 1st. And it's scheduled to end, if it goes according to schedule, it will then end on Passover, April 12 and 13, that weekend, here in a few more weeks. Oh my, it's getting crazy. And the final thing I want to get over here too is, let's do this we'll get out of El-Sisi over here. Let's get over here down here. Erdogan with Turkey. This is going to start getting crazy too, because he's threatening Israel and the West. Because what Erdogan wants to do is he's becoming buddies with al-Shara, the new president of Syria. And he wants to have a land route from Iran to bypass Israel with their normalization with Saudi Arabia. And he wants to have a land route going from Iran through Iraq into Syria, into Turkey, where then he can control a lot of the oil and natural gas and whatnot and goods that will be coming into Europe. He wants to control it. So this is going to get really squirrely too, I believe, as we head into, because I put on the Telegram, could this be the king of the north? And we've got to watch Turkey, the Ottoman Empire, because he wants to expand it before he gets out of office, and he wants his sons to take it. And he wants to expand this Turkish empire, this Ottoman empire, and this is why he wants to become buddy with the new president al-Shara there of Syria. And we know the Assyrian from the north comes down, the king of the north. So this is going to start getting kind of crazy, Professor, as well. I wanted to point this out as well, because this was today we see over here on the left-hand side, the stage where the 3 hostages were put up, and they were given, their things to say and what they had to do. And they were given mementos, and they were given bags of pictures of their hostages or their captors and this, that, the other. So that's just crazy how they're doing this. It's just sick what they're doing. But the size of the crowds in these hostage releases consistently are reducing week by week by week. And you can see at the northern part of the picture, the top of the picture, the crowds of Gazans who are watching this come to pass. But Israel released 369 Palestinian prisoners in exchange for 3 hostages. 36 of these Palestinian prisoners were convicted to life in prison in Israel's prisons for murdering Israelis. And they were released. But this is nothing new. They've been doing this the past couple of weeks with these prisoner releases to get their hostages back. You know, this is one Israeli hostage for every 123 Palestinian prisoners. Not a good deal. Whatever happened to the 30 Palestinian prisoners exchanged for 1 civilian, or 50 Palestinian prisoners exchanged for 1 soldier? Talk about breaking the hostage prisoner deal with 123 released for 1 Israeli hostage to be freed. What is going on with Israel? You know, I'm glad that they're home. These hostages, these 3 men tonight, but there's still 73 being held hostage in Hamas. And 36 of them are dead. So there's only maybe 37 alive left. You know, they've spent 497 days in captivity, or 71 weeks. Truly, truly insane. The next picture I want to show you is because this is the propaganda that they're doing. This is not an Israel versus Hamas war. This is an Israel versus Gaza war. No wonder none of the surrounding Arab nations want to take in any of these Gazans in for relocation. Terror is all the Gazan people know, all the way from birth. These are some of the children in Gaza today during the hostage release. Hamas systematically indoctrinates these children for jihad and martyrdom. Hamas is always engaged in child abuse and have weaponized Arab children in the name of Allah and the killing of Jews. I'm going to show you these kids today that are in part of that crowd. Isn't that crazy? That's absolutely nuts, guys. You know, Hamas indoctrinates these kids from birth. It is so sad, but remember, there is an everlasting enmity or an eternal hatred. God told the Israelites over 3,000 years to take care of the Philistines, and Israel did not obey God. And they're reaping what their forefathers did not do when God told them to do this over 3,000 years ago. And there's some prophecies still coming up. Ezekiel 25, verses 15 to 17. I'm just going to read verse 15 real quick. Ezekiel 25:15. Thus says the Lord God, because the Philistines have acted in revenge and have taken vengeance with scorn of soul to destroy Israel, basically, with everlasting enmity. This is still coming to pass. You know, I'm just going to get back over here because we're going to wrap this up real quick. And this is just going to be a short video, but there's going to be so much more to be talking about here in the next few days. And my voice is still a little hoarse, and I just want to say thank you for your prayers to those who've been praying for me. We're getting there, but there's going to be a lot to talk about here this next week and in the next couple of weeks, because they want to continue on with this phase 2 of the next 6-week period, where Hamas even said today that in phase number 2, they're not going to control the release of these hostages. So I wonder who's going to be dealing with that. Who's going to be taking control of that? Because we know the International Red Cross cannot do that, because they've been accomplices with Hamas the entire time. They've not once since October 7th visited any of the Israeli hostages in Hamas captivity. They've not once come in to check on their welfare. They've not once come in to check on their proof of life or to give them medicines. This is the International Red Cross, and they're taking this way neutral position. But when you dive into the beginnings of the Red Cross, you see all their masonry and all that their ties in with them and how anti-Semitic they really are. So, guys, I'll end this now. I just wanted to get this out real quick and just say thanks to you guys for being there for me. Thanks for your prayers. Thank you for your support. And I'll see you here, there, or in the air, and we will talk soon. And we're going to hit recording right now. And it's time to go eat some dinner. We'll talk to you guys soon.